On today's ride, coming down the mountain from La Cumbre. Cumbre just means the summit. It's La Cumbre de Pesci. It's full name. There's a nice viewpoint here. Stop for a moment. Yeah. I'm just outside Oaxaca. That's Oaxaca down there, you can see. Well, that's just the sort of edge of it. Oaxaca's sort of more behind this mountain here. But we're up at 2,700 meters at the top, so it's a good old climb up. Oaxaca's about 1,550, so it's about a 1,200 meter climb, 1,150. We did it as a race last Sunday, about halfway up, but this Sunday we're doing right to the top, so I was just coming up to recce it, see where I'm going to attack. In theory, I'll be half dead at that point. Lungs are still a bit funny. Anyway, I thought I'd just roll down a bit. It's not super steep here. Do a little review of Oaxaca. Now I'm coming. This is my last week here. I'll be this time next week. I'll be gone. But I spent most of my time in Mexico, in Oaxaca and around Oaxaca State. And I have to say, it's a fantastic location. It really is. Well, it's got some really good points, and it's got some less good points. And I'll do this is more of interest to other cyclists, really. And I'll do a fair bit of comparison with Chiang Mai, which is the other place I go to quite a lot, or used to. I'll go back again, but it's all a little bit complicated at the moment. And good to, really. I mean, even had Thailand fully opened up, I would still have come to Mexico to see how I like coming to new places and exploring. It'd be nice to go back there as well, and Vietnam as well. But Oaxaca is a great city. It's a good city for cycling, but it's just a great city anyway. It's very pretty, surrounded by hills, and the weather is just, this time of year, it's just fantastic. It is, well, I get here. But basically, once the rainy season ends, I think sort of October, this will be one of the negative points, road surfaces, but once the rainy season ends, like October, November, December, January, February, just blue skies basically all day, every day. It has rained for about 20 minutes since I've been here. It's basically blue skies all day, every day. Lovely, clear, very low humidity, very dry. Cool at night, a little bit too cool at night. Some mornings a bit chilly, but even 7 or 8 degrees, which is kind of cool when you don't have heating or anything. But it's cool. And generally, just nice and cool at night, so you can sleep. And then in the daytime, it's probably high 20s, 25, 26, 27 degrees. It can feel a little bit hot in the sun in the middle of the day, but you can ride all day. I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. Another good point, food is without doubt the best food I've had in Latin America. Peru, people say Peruvian food is good. I've only really been to the Amazon of Peru, so it wasn't great there. But I don't think it's a scratch on Mexico, and Oaxaca, as the Mexicans say, is the best. Some of the best food in Mexico, and I keep finding new stuff. There's really good seafood in Oaxaca. You wouldn't think right in the middle of the mountains, but I suppose we're not far from the coast. They're building a new highway. They've nearly completed. That will make the coast 2.5, 3 hours away. Not my bicycle. Article it is the rainbow. These little restaurants that open at the weekends. People like to drive out of town and up into the hills for lunch or breakfast. So yeah, really good food, nice little town, little oldie worldy, colonial, cobbledy street sort of business. In the old town, it's a sort of sprawling metropolis a bit as well, but it's not that big. I can be out of town in 5 minutes. The highway out of town has got a bike lane, which is great. So you can do some flat riding as well, not just hills. There's not a huge number of choices. It's not like Chiang Mai or the North of Vietnam, and there aren't so many options for riding, but there are some really good ones. Good climbs, good local climbs, just in town. A lot of the rides are sort of there and back, but if you had a gravel bike, there would be a lot more options. And definitely there's some good mountain biking here. I'm going to go out on a rented mountain bike tomorrow, I think. But if you have a gravel bike, there's definitely some gravelly rides that you can do, mixed. And because the road surfaces are not always great, they're not that bad around here, but Mexico is generally pretty awful. I think a gravel bike with wider tyres would be a good thing. There's a lot of local cyclists here, quite a lot of local cyclists, a lot of clubs and groups, some racing. As you see, I've done quite a few races here, sort of crit racing and climbing races. There are no other foreign riders. I've not met a single. I've met a lot of tourers, or a few tourers, but I've not met a single roadie here. So it's all locals, but they're super friendly. It definitely helps to speak Spanish. Some of them do speak English. Mexicans, there's a lot more English in Mexico than Colombia, for example, but it helps speaking Spanish. And I've got a few locals I go out with, as well as getting invited to join a local club while I'm here. So they're very inclusive and very friendly. So that's kind of the good points. I have to stop because my hand's hurting, breaking with one hand. Negatively, there's not so many good rides. It's enough for for a month or two. There's a good base. The road surfaces can be quite awful. It's not as safe as Southeast Asia, let's be honest. Southeast Asia, I never really think about where I can and can't go and, going out in town. There have been some problems in Oaxaca of late. This is sort of, I think people are saying it's sort of COVID hasn't helped. But it's Latin America, you've got to be careful. And I am a lot more careful here, so I'm just sort of cautious. I've lived and travelled in Latin America quite a lot. And I sort of know how to be careful. I'm always aware of what's concerned, especially at night. But even in the daytime, people have been mugged and that. Lately, people coming up on motorbikes when you suddenly find yourself in a quiet street. But I'm generally always pretty much aware of what's around me, and I've got a pretty good radar for trouble, so I'm just touch wood. Probably get mugged today now. So you've got those issues here in Mexico. Drivers, generally drivers are alright actually. I think a lot better than they are in England. People are quite considerate. Bus drivers and truck drivers are assholes, but that's the same the world over. If you're on a single lane road here, if I see a big truck coming, if I turn around and see one behind me, I'll just get off the road, because these buggers will not slow down. They will just squeeze past you. So you learn that. There's less sort of bike lanes here. Like Southeast Asia is good for bike lanes because they're just used to scooters. So many people on scooters, but people don't really ride scooters here. Anyway, so I think Oaxaca's been a great place. I'm going to move up north next week. For my last few weeks, I'm going to go up to Guanajuato City, San Miguel de Allende, maybe to San Luis Potosí. Anyway, we'll explore around there for the last few weeks, and then I'm going to have to leave. My time up is up in Mexico. Watch this space for where I go next. I'm certainly not going back to Wales yet. Wales needs to get considerably warmer before I step foot back there. But Guatemala's the front runner now for the next location. Stop again. My hand's tired. So farewell to Oaxaca. Hasta luego. Ciao.